Okay, I see that we're on Facebook now. Thank you, Stacy, for taking care of that. Okay, well, let's get started. Lucas and Diana, thank you both for being here today. There are so many women actually watching right now. I know you can't see them, but they can see us and hear us. And I know they're so excited to spend this time with you. And I'm just personally so excited to spend this time with you because it's been over a year since I've seen you. I guess I saw you early 20, so almost 2 years actually, which is so crazy.
Early 2019, yes.
Early 2019, yeah, which I can't believe is almost 2 years ago because it feels like we were in India together not that long ago. You guys, I have to tell you, Lucas and Diana are a wealth of knowledge and heart as well for our shared mission. And I will say I had a great time getting to know them in person in India. Lucas is a great photographer. He took all of my photos across India and he gets really into it. He will climb upstairs and stand on platforms. He gets really into it. So, and I think that's just a sign of his passion and the passion they both share for life, but then also our mission as well. So Lucas is actually on staff with us here at Trades of Hope. He's our liaison to his side of the world in India, also connecting with our artisan groups and on the African continent and other places in Asia as well. So thank you, Lucas, for being here. This is a unique opportunity because up until this point, the women who are watching now, they've just had calls with our artisans or artisan group leaders, but you are actually you're kind of a whole new level as our liaison there. So thank you for being here. And why don't you take a moment for you both to introduce yourselves to the women with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Well, my name is Lucas and this is my wife, Diana. And it dates back to the fact that, I started my career working in the Middle East. And that was about 35 years back. And after I finished over there, I came back and I joined a handicraft company here in India. And in 2017, after I retired, Trades of Hope requested me to join as their liaison officer. And I was most delighted to do that. Diana would like to say something as well.
I did help Lucas when he was working with the handicrafts company. And after he retired, I think we were very excited to be able to join and be a part of Trades of Hope because this was exactly what we had been doing in the handicrafts company, reaching out mostly to women and helping them and empowering them. So I think it is our joy and privilege to be a part of Trades of Hope and all that they do.
Thank you.
So in India, normally, the retirement age is pretty early, it's 58. And unlike in the West where people work a little longer. So after we retired, it was a real joy when the founders, you and Gretchen, asked us to take on this on board. And we enjoy traveling, we enjoy meeting the artisans and also the women and seeing the way in which they're being empowered.
Yeah.
So we cover South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Africa as well for Trades of Hope.
Yeah, and that is such a help to us because our main priority, and I know everyone here knows this, our main priority is the prosperity and the growth and it's the health of our artisans. And it's difficult for us as a company to be able to check in and communicate with some of our artisans on the other side of the world. It's not impossible. I mean, the last time I was with Lucas and Diana was in India, so it is possible, but there are just some more check-ins that are helpful for business and Lucas does a fantastic job. I love hearing when we're talking about a certain group in Africa or Asia, and we need to communicate something with them or receive something from them. I love when I hear, oh, Lucas will be there in a couple weeks. I'm like, yes, perfect. Lucas will be there, and he can take care of it. So it's so vital to keep us connected, and Lucas and Diana play a really important role in that. Well, I know, Lucas, because you are so wonderful at everything that you do, as is Diana. I have seen Diana just instantly bond and communicate with artisans that she might not have met before while visiting other groups. And so their passion and their desire for excellence in what they do is really apparent. So Lucas, I know, has prepared a lot for us today. So it's going to be good. Get your notes ready, because you're not going to want to forget the amazing information that he has for you guys. So let's jump right into our time together. Will you tell us maybe, well, I mean, I guess you did kind of share how you got involved with Trades of Hope. So if you want to add anything else there, you can definitely touch on that. But why is our mission and what we do, fair trade, creating jobs, why is that important in India? We can say India, since I know you have so much experience there, but also the other places that you travel to.
Yeah, so we've had the honor and privilege, Elizabeth, to travel to many places while we are here with Trades of Hope. We've been to Nepal, we've been to Bangladesh, we've been to Vietnam, to Thailand, and to Kenya, and met the many, many groups that Trades of Hope are dealing with. We have not covered yet Cambodia and Philippines, but they are in regular touch with us. And the mission of Trades of Hope is so very important because we see the empowerment actually taking place to the women and to the grassroots artisans. Many of the women who work with the producer groups have no idea where their products are going. And when we explain to them that the products are being sold to like-minded women in America, they are thrilled and enthused to know that what they produce is actually going there. And they give their heart and their soul to see that they make the products of the best quality and the best design. The mission of Trades of Hope deals with injustice as well and livelihood upliftment. And so when the orders are given to these groups, we can see the direct impact of this and the continuous work lifting the women out of poverty and giving them a voice in society. We can actually see that the women in these last 10 years have grown from nothing to something. And that's so very powerful, because Trades of Hope is a unique organization in it that it has women behind it. And very seldom do we get women behind organizations and women helping women. Lastly, the mission not only empowers individuals, but it also empowers families. And when you see that happen, and you see that the entire family impacts the society, it causes a tremendous ripple effect. And other companies are doing this through unfair means, but Trades of Hope is doing it through fair trade means. And so they're very eager to learn more about fair trade and what it supplies and how you can actually empower them. Because prior to this, we were working with the WFTO, World Fair Trade Organization, and I served on their board for 4 years. So when we empower these artisans to come up to fair trade standards, and they do come up to those standards, the mission of Trades of Hope is so very important to them. Diana does her bit in terms of, we travel to different cultures, and sometimes the women do not want to meet men. And so Diana comes and plays an important role. She'll explain to you what she does.
My part is normally to be a part of the women and empowering them, and also getting into their lives and asking them questions like, how they're being impacted by what they do, how they love what they do. And they're always excited to be able to turn out new designs, new ideas, and new products for Trades of Hope. Of course, they don't know the details about Trades of Hope, but it gives them much joy to be able to send things abroad. The other thing I do is also get stories about their husbands and their children, and the things they do and the things that they long to do. Our society does not allow women to work very freely in factories. And so, and through what they do in Trades of Hope really empowers them, because there is a joy doing what they do. You know, they all come together in a particular village and they're able to work together, and they're able to bond together, and also be able to speak out on behalf of, you know, their own families and the things that they go through. So in and through what we do in Trades of Hope, I think there is so much joy. Also because Lucas is not able to get access into their homes, and you
In
know,
some
they,
cultures.
yeah. Pardon?
In some cultures.
In some cultures, yeah, mostly the Muslims and the Hindus. I'm able to do that, and to be able to speak to them, and to be able to ask questions on behalf of Trades of Hope. And so this is a good thing, to be able to impact society, I feel. Yeah, that's about it. And then little stories I would do on their behalf, and just get into their families and help them wherever they need a little counsel in terms of their children, or maybe money related matters. So this is basically what I do.
So prior to joining the handicraft company, Diana was a professional secretary. And so she takes down things in shorthand. So you can explain a little bit about that.
It's not much, but it's just a quick way of getting around things, really.
That's awesome. I think that the way that you address both sides of a business relationship with our groups is so important. You both bring in just different aspects, and you're a real power couple. You know that you really make such an impact. And I love, Diana, that you even acknowledged like that relational side of things, the stories, meeting people where they're at, being able to represent people well and honorably is so important. It's just as important as you know, getting our full production of products in, or making sure that things are done at a right time. It's also important, and you both bring that to the table. You guys are so well experienced in the world of fair trade for, I mean, decades, right? Like a very long time, and you have so much under your belt. And I'm curious how you have seen over the years how fair trade has helped and grown women and families and communities. I know you said, Lucas, that it's helped women go from feeling like nothing to something. So I'm curious how you've seen that growth and that impact.
Yes, so actually in fair trade, we follow the 10 principles of fair trade, Elizabeth, and many of the groups do not know about fair trade initially, but as they progress and as we go through the fact that they have to pay fair wages, they need to look after the environment, they have to see that some places men and women are working, and for the same work that men are doing, the women also are doing, so that they are paid fairly in that as well. Then we want to see that not only they are impacted individually, but their families are impacted. And we also want to see that change actually physically takes place in and through fair trade. And when they join an organization like WFTO, the Fair Trade Federation, they come up with so many beautiful ideas, and that is able to translate into actual business for them. So they grow from nothing to something, and fair trade helps them to hold their head high and to say that, look, they're dealing fairly, they're being paid fairly, they get their wages on time. And an organization like Trades of Hope has grown from very humble beginnings. I remember the time that we came to Daytona, and it was a small little warehouse, and it has grown to such a large organization. In 2012, we visited there, and we had the first house party at Gretchen's house, and then we had the privilege to come in 2017 to an Inspire conference, and the number of women were there. We were just amazed at how fast it has grown, and this is all because fair trade has empowered communities and people all over the world, and we are so grateful that we are part of this family.
We're so thankful that you're a part of this family. Oh, sorry, Diana, go ahead.
Yes.
No, you go ahead. We'll run through your questions, Elizabeth.
No, that's okay. Did you have something to say about that?
No, not really. Except that I've been amazed too at the way Trades of Hope has grown over these years. I mean, it has been empowered, uh, empowering women, and especially I think the women in India, they haven't had a chance to come up in society. And so we've just seen the way, uh, you and Gretchen and the others have been able to give them orders. And every time we visit them, they feel that they need more orders just so that they can come up in life and achieve the things that they have not achieved all these years. So thank you for doing that for them, Elizabeth.
Oh, well, we couldn't do it the way that we are today without you both. And I think what you said is really important. We know that fair trade and fair wages, it works. It works to help and women rise, and it works to help communities and families flourish. We already know what needs to be done, but in order to make the impact on the scale that we want to make, you're right, Diana, they ask for more. We need to do exactly what we're doing more. We don't need to figure out a new way to do it. It's working. What we're doing works. But yes, having that growth, and that happens. I love, Lucas, how you said in 5 years you were so surprised at the amount of women who were at Inspire. And I'm really, I know Gretchen and I, we are praying, focusing every day. How can we make that group of women grow? Because that is what's going to grow the impact for women in India. So I'm so glad you brought that up. And it is something that our artisans know. Our artisans know that as we grow as a company, they will grow as well. Now that growth, the growth of fair trade, and to do it sustainably, it happens over time. Like, you have been a part of fair trade for a long time. Trades of Hope has existed for 10 years. That's a long time. And sometimes it can take a while to see a big change in even just a woman's attitude or in her pride. And so I'm curious what you both would say to, a woman isn't going to go from a slum to a house for her family overnight. It is a process, and it's to be sustainable. And so I'm curious what you both think. This wasn't in any of the prepped questions. I'm improvising here, but I would like to know what you both think are signs of growth, good signs, to know that if these things are happening, then we are heading towards the long-term change that we're all working towards together.
So a couple of things that do take place. Number one is we can see that their income grows. And most often, when there are two incomes, when the husband and the wife are working, or when the partners are working, then that adds to the family income. The other thing that happens when we see fair trade and the impact that fair trade in and through the orders of Trades of Hope is doing is that they're able to send their children to school. And education plays a very, very important part today, not only in India, in Nepal, but Southeast Asia, South Asia. And they take great pride in seeing that in and through fair trade and dealing with Trades of Hope, that their children are getting educated. The next thing that we see is that they're able to save income. And when they are able to save income, when in societies there's things that happen, like such as marriages or festivals or different things that happen, they're able to use that income to actually spend that, and spend it so beautifully, and that brings a lot of joy and a lot of hope to them. We also see that they are medically fit, and medical conditions here are not as good as in the West. But to see that they're able to save money and to be able to save that and use it for their medical facilities is really a great thing that is done. And I think the final thing is that not only are they empowering their families, but they're also empowering societies. And that grows. We can see that in the slums of Mumbai, there's a group that does the garments for Trades of Hope. And they have grown so tremendously over the years that they have moved from a slum to an actual house. And when you see that happening in their lives over a period, and as you rightly said, it doesn't take place in maybe 1 or 2 years. It takes place over a period of 5 to 6 years. But when they're able to save that money in and through the orders that come in from Trades of Hope, they are because of the fair wage that we pay, they're able to actually be able to sustain themselves and get into homes. And Trades of Hope is such a unique organization that I think there's no other organization that gives its producers orders every 2 months. Most of the other organizations abroad and in the West and in the US give their orders only for fall and spring. But Trades of Hope gives round the year, round the clock orders. And that is so empowering to the groups, because in and through that, it is not just a periodical thing, but it is a full year's orders that keep them sustained and see that they can grow to higher heights.
Diana, do you have any thoughts on that? It's okay if you don't, because I know I threw this question at you last minute.
And just what Lucas said earlier is that the women are always so excited to see their children become something, because in and through the orders, they're able to get more income and educate their children. I think that is one of the biggest joys that our women have, to see the children being schooled and then educated further into college. Yeah. And then becoming something out of nothing, because in the villages you don't have that facility, and so as they earn more, they are able to send their children out to schools and colleges. So that is one of the greatest joys they have.
I think it's so helpful having those measures of success and those measures of growth, knowing that wages going up, children going to school, money is being saved, medical care is being taken care of, because it is a long-term process. And I appreciate you, Lucas, saying how sustainable our ordering system is, because at Trades of Hope, that is truly our heart. We would rather that growth happen deeper and slower for long-term change, so that our artisans' children never have to deal with the problems that their parents are facing, and their grandchildren don't have to experience the same problems. And it's truly an investment of our time. Like I said, Trades of Hope is 10 years, and a lot of our partners, like here in the US, are the women who sell all of our products. Some of them have been around for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, almost 10 years as well. And I love seeing that partnership and that growth. It's an investment of both of our times in the United States and in India as well, to create this long-term vision of the world that we really want to live in, where everyone has opportunity and value. Have you, in your travels for Trades of Hope, when you're visiting either communities in India or maybe in other countries that we have sent you guys to help us with, do you have any specific stories or occurrences where you've seen a change happen or growth happen?
Yes, I would like to talk about a story about a lady by the name of Bubbly, and she hails from a very impoverished state. There are many states in India, and she hails from a state of Bihar, which is very, very a downtrodden state. It's a very poor state. Mm. And normally what happens in India is that they stay in a joint family. After she got married at a very young age of 17. And then her husband was a laborer, and he was working over here in Bombay. And he was a daily wage earner. But after some time, he fell sick, and he had to undergo an operation. And in that time, Bubbly wanted to come down to look after him. He was working in Bombay, so she came and she started looking after him. In that time, one of her children fell very sick, and they didn't have money to actually look after the child. But she joined this handicraft company that makes the garments. And they trained her in the sewing craft, and after about 6 months, she got really good in the skill, and she actually started working there. And in and through the work that she was getting, she was able to sustain herself, and so her income augmented her husband's income, and she was very quick in learning. And today, as we look back in her life, she is a trained master seamstress. And it has been about 4 years. And in and through that, she's been able to save the money. Initially, she was very frightened to come to Bombay because Bihar is a rural place. Bombay is a city. It's a city of about 20 million people. And in and through this work, now that she's been working with the handicraft company, with this garment company, she has seen change take place, not only financially, but also that she's been able to gain confidence in the work that she does by way of the stitching that she does. So she's become such a professional seamstress that any order that is given to her, she's able to do it perfectly. And that has brought so much joy to her, because now she can hold herself up in pride. And she's also a part of the AGM, the annual general meeting. So it's a group of about 300 women who form this garment company, and they have a voice, and this voice can be actually heard, and they make the decisions within the company. So that is so empowering, that is so fulfilling. And to see that Bubbly, from where she was about 6 years back to where she is today, gives us a sense of joy, gives her a sense of pride. And this has been a real dream come true for her.
Wow. This is a theme that I hear all the time, every time I speak with a leader in fair trade, whether it is, it's usually a leader of one of our artisan communities, and it's always that there's a financial need. A woman is able to meet that financial need through her skills and training and job, but then it meets a deeper need. It meets an emotional need, a personal need. And I know, Diana, you touched on that as well. Like, you're able to connect with these women in some ways that Lucas is not able to because of cultural reasons. And you hear more of where they're at just as a woman, as a person. And that is something powerful, I think, that fair trade does, that we don't always think of, because we just want to help them meet their physical needs first. Yeah, and to me, I always say, poverty can take away a lot of things, but it doesn't take away someone's pride. Like, every human being wants to have pride in what they do, and when they lay their head down at night, want to know that they earned what they have. And that's true regardless of your financial situation. Just those physical needs have to be met first. And so I love that you shared that example of Bubbly, because it is a true whole person transformation, not just a financial one. Speaking of, transformations that aren't financial, can you share some examples of how our artisan communities are helping our artisans in ways outside of income?
Yes, so many of the ways in which their money is kept aside from their income and put into a saving account, which is utilized at a later date for various needs. Then these artisans who are actually trained are also training them and training other artisans in quality and how they can expand their business. Then in our society and in the societies that we have moved around and gone to see, a bonus is given during festivals. And this is something that is really helpful for them. Farming is also taken up, since most of the artisans are rural based, and this helps them throughout the season. In some groups which are part of a cooperative, the women have a voice to make the decisions, and thereby they increase their power. We saw that in this COVID situation, women rose up to the occasion, and they made beautiful stuff and beautiful masks. And not only that, they help them with food, they help them with clothing, they help them with shelter. And this is all because of the fact that, they are trying to empower other artisans within their communities. They teach them the business skills and what they have learned in their organization. And so this plays an important part, because in and through their ongoing work, they are able to pass on those business skills and train other women. In places where the work of handicraft is a big challenge, to pass it on to the next generation. So they want to teach their children, and they want to teach their children's children, so that it is not a dying business, but that the handicraft work will continue, because they want to see that their groups are empowered. And in this empowerment, the next generation will take it on. They provide very well for their families, and fair trade helps in keeping these 10 principles followed, and with that we can see that these artisans grow to a brighter future in the long run.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's again, it's about going deeper and more sustainable with everyone, so that again, our artisans' children and their grandchildren can experience new opportunities that maybe have never come to that family before. And we know at Trades of Hope that a lot of our artisan communities actually also do things for the extended community. It's not even just for our artisans, but our artisans give back to their own communities, even if they don't work necessarily on fair trade products. Can you share some examples of that?
Yes. So the way in which they give back to their other communities is that they help them in training, and they also help them to whatever skills that they have learned. They pass that on to these people, to these others. Their artisans are emboldened, and they can take on new products. Another thing is, previously design and development used to not play that much of an important part, but today design and development plays an important part. And so the tech packs that Trades of Hope gives actually helps them to make the product to the best finish and the best quality. So this is also passed on, and this is helping them to actually look at product design and look at the way in which they can actually make better products. Quality is of paramount importance. In the past, when Trades of Hope was started, quality was there, but the quality standard that was there then, today the groups have been able to pass on the quality standards of what they have learned through Trades of Hope to other communities as well, and through other people as well. So, the tech packs, the quality standards, the design and development, the price points that they are looking at, the competitiveness that they want to grow up with, all this helps them. And previously, there only used to be 2 orders, like just for the fall and just for the spring. But when now they see Black Friday, they see spring, fall, they see Inspire, they see special events that Trades of Hope is doing, they're all the more enthused to pass it on to the next generation and to other people as well, and to train the other women. With the fact that they attend at times a call with Trades of Hope and how they can actually improve their work. Most of the design and development team sometimes spend some time by way of a Skype call or by way of a Zoom call. In and through that, they're able to get much better in their design, get much better in their quality, and be able to produce products that are really marketable, not shoddy products, but actually quality products. And it gives them great pride to see that other people are also empowered in and through this. So I think this has had a lasting impact, and it's going to have an even bigger impact as Trades of Hope grows and these women grow, and the other women who are connected with them actually are growing in and through the process, Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, we aren't finished yet. We aren't finished yet. We have so much more of an impact that we want to make.
Yes.
As to, well, first I want to say, if anyone has any questions for Diana and Lucas, feel free to ask them now. Drop them in a chat box. I actually can't see what's on Facebook, so maybe if there are any on Facebook, maybe Stacy can pass them along here onto Zoom. But feel free to ask those, and we will address the ones that we're able to at the end. But I want to ask you both, as two experienced experts in the fair trade industry, I'm wondering what your hopes and your future vision would be for the artisan communities that you've visited. How would you like to see them grow? What would you like their futures to be? And I think that it's interesting to hear from you guys, because you've seen what has grown, you've seen it grown so much over decades, and I feel like you can dream big and know where it's possible of going in the future.
You want to add something to that? Yeah.
I think for us, impacting our society has been our biggest joy, and to be able to continue to do that and to help people. I think as Lucas was retiring, we always felt that we could use our services and our expertise and experience in different areas and help people, and especially women who need to be trained, and more so in our society. And so I think one of the things that we've always wanted to do is work with women, alongside women, and help them to come up in life, also impacting their families and their communities at large.
We would also like to see them come up with their own creative designs and their ideas to actually show to Trades of Hope, because they are really skilled, and they are dealing with quite a few other groups as well all over the world. Yeah. So they have a great amount of creativity within them. So we would love that creativity to bloom out and to come up. Yeah. We want to see that they are self-sustaining, and as they grow with Trades of Hope, that they will be able to sustain themselves. And they would be a good example to their communities in their vicinity. That they will know the true meaning of the values and ethics that Trades of Hope has, and that they will share these values and these ethics with their friends. And mothers can help mothers to further the cause of women empowerment. And so as the partners are in Trades of Hope helping these women, we are hoping that they can also help other women. And this can be an ever-expanding network of women helping other women. Trades of Hope is in a unique situation to actually empower these women. And we see this empowerment taking place in tangible ways, and in ways that are really so very, very tangible. And we are actually so thrilled that we see this actual physical change take place in their entire families, and in their entire communities, and in their societies. So I think Trades of Hope is doing a commendable job in that.
That's so encouraging to hear. Because as we all know, here in the Trades of Hope office, and the women watching, they are in their homes, and you all are in India. It can be so easy to get caught up in just the day-to-day work, but we all need to pause and take a moment and remember that it's working. What we're doing is working, and it's so refreshing to hear from you both, who are on the grounds there in India and connecting with various groups. So there is, a question from Dixie, and yes, Dixie, it would be possible to connect to artisans from different groups and meet and learn. I am assuming you mean different artisan groups that Lucas works with, just because we do connect with different countries every month. When you get your 500 plus one, you're able to get on a call with a different community in a different country. I think we've done 4 of these now. We've done, we've done Mexico. Now we have our liaisons in India. We've had another India call, and one in the US. So we are traveling the world with these 500 plus 1 calls. But if you mean Lucas taking us to some of the groups that he works with, I think that's definitely a possibility. We can maybe align Lucas's travel schedule and see if we can, oh, we had Kenya actually, which Kenya is one of the groups that I know Lucas has traveled to for us on our behalf. So yes, Dixie, that's absolutely possible. Are there any more questions for Diana and Lucas? I don't see any other ones. Oh, here's one for you, Lucas. Are fair trade products marketed predominantly here in the US? That's a great question.
The fair trade movement actually started in Europe. And now, when you look at the global fair trade market, the global fair trade market is a huge chunk in the US. US and Canada practically has about 60% of the fair trade market. The Europeans now are concentrating more on food and more on products that are supermarket sold, and not so much handcrafted, but more machine made. So when we look at fair trade in its perspective and in its totality, I think the US and Canada plays a very, very important part. And that has grown. So coffee is one of the biggest fair trade products all over the world. So it's very easy to sell coffee, but it is much, much more difficult to sell a beautiful necklace or a beautiful scarf or a beautiful trinket or an accessory. And, the Trades of Hope products are such gorgeous products. So to answer that question, yes, the US market is the biggest market right now.
Thank you, Lucas. That's great. I would not have known that data. Luann asks, are there any artisan groups not with Trades of Hope that Lucas sees that he thinks would benefit from the Trades of Hope partnership? Are we working with any groups to bring them into Trades of Hope partnership? So before Lucas, you answer that, I can, please clarify this. But I think right now, most of the groups that you go to are for Trades of Hope, correct?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, Lucas and I have actually gone to artisan trade shows in India together. So we definitely, and as new groups are added on, they are added to Lucas's agenda, I guess, as relationships to maintain. But do you have any other thoughts on Luann's question, Lucas?
We do a thorough recce before we can actually take on the group, Elizabeth, for the fair trade standards. So we actually do a fair trade audit, and we spend at least 2 days to go through the entire 10 questions that are there on fair trade and any other questions that that come to mind when we visit the groups. So we talk about a whole gambit of things when we visit the groups to see that they're actually fair trade and they're practicing fair trade. We go through their records, we go through all the stuff that they maintain in their files, and we actually visit the groups physically. And we, sometimes we interview the artisans privately to actually see that whatever the artisans are saying corroborates with what the actual people are saying. So, sometimes there's a head who looks after all the women. So the head might say something, but we would like to interview the actual artisans and the actual women to see that what the head of the group is saying corroborates with what the women are saying. So that's very, very important. And we can see that fair trade is really playing a very important part in helping these artisans. And it's a learning process for them. I would say it doesn't happen overnight. And gradually, as we hold their hands and we talk with them and we phone them and we WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very, very popular in most of the places here in South Asia and Southeast Asia. We also use other mediums like Viber and Messenger to communicate with them. There's also Facebook. So in and through these different apps, we are able to connect to the groups and see that they are growing in fair trade. And actually, this is what is happening to them physically on the ground.
Yeah, Lucas, just in case some of you didn't hear that at the beginning, Lucas used to work within fair trade and used to be a leader in an artisan community. But then after he retired, he's now on staff. So he wasn't really able to retire, but I know Diana's expressed their desire to continue what they feel is their purpose. And now he works as our on-staff liaison to Africa and Asia. So thankfully, he does all of that for Trades of Hope now, which is obviously everything that Lucas said is extremely important to us, and it would be difficult for us to do that, being based in the United States. So Lucas does a fantastic job, and his work with artisan groups now are now on Trades of Hope's behalf. We have the question, what does the process look like if a woman wants to become an artisan within the group? So not necessarily if a group wants to become a part of Trades of Hope. I think, Lucas, you may be able to answer this maybe more from your past work, because I know you don't lead one community now, so you are not onboarding women into artisan communities anymore. But do you have maybe any insight from when you were at a specific artisan community, what this would look like?
Well, actually, there is a training process that the artisan has to go through. And normally the training process takes a little while before the artisan is actually taken on board as a regular artisan. So there's a probation period. And like I shared with you about this story about this girl by the name of Bubbly, she actually went through a 6 months training process. And in and through that training process, she actually went through different stages where the group leader treats her and like a real sister. And based on that, step by step, as she learns, then she's able to graduate and get a certificate and become part and parcel of the artisan community. So it's not an overnight thing. The artisans that we work with, that Trades of Hope works with, we want to see that the new ones also come to the standard that the old ones have. So it's not an overnight process, it's a gradual process, but she goes through a lot of training, a lot of development, a lot of holistic sort of inputs that she gets from the other artisans and from the people around her. So once she comes up to the standards, then she's able to be taken on as a full-time artisan and paid a wage that is a real fair trade wage. But till that time, she's an apprentice and she's paid a stipend. So the stipend also is fairly good. But once she becomes a full-fledged artisan, then it's a decent wage that she does get.
Wonderful. Okay, that's all the questions that I see here. So I want to also be respectful of Lucas and Diana's time, as it is very late in India right now. Thank you both. Thank you so much for being here. This was such a fantastic conversation, and it's lit me up inside and excites me to continue this great work that we have the honor of doing together. Is there any last words that you have for us today, Diana and Lucas?
Thank you for the wonderful job you, Elizabeth, and your mom are doing. And we are so deeply honored to be part of this work that you are doing. And we pray blessings upon all that you are doing.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Diana.
Elizabeth, both Gretchen and you are doing a fantastic job. And we see Stephanie quite often on Facebook. I don't know whether she's watching us now. And she's a great blogger, and she's such an enthusiastic person selling Trades of Hope products. There are many other women whom we see on Facebook, and the way in which they reach out to the community over there and enroll other women and empower other women. So it's not an empowerment just in Asia or in Africa or in South America, but it's an empowerment even in America. And we want to applaud them for the way in which they go about their work. And we want to say that, every dollar that is being spent in America is actually going back to these artisans to empower them as well. And so we want to applaud and honor and say well done to all the partners who are watching this program as well. To continue to do that, because you're making such a big difference in the lives of thousands of women all over the world, in Asia, Africa, South America, and in America as well. So we are so honored, as Diana said, we are so honored and privileged to be working alongside Gretchen and you and the entire team at Trades of Hope, to bring power, to bring empowerment, to bring jobs, to bring sustainable incomes, and to see that women are being empowered. As I said, Trades of Hope is a unique organization. an organization, one of its kind. I just want to say that I have 35 years of experience in working with a handicraft company, but Trades of Hope is the only company that pays its artisans upfront. And as soon as the order is ready, they pay that as well. So normally other companies would take about 60 days credit or 90 days credit to pay the balance of the, the order, but Trades of Hope pays it immediately. And that is such a uplifting thing for the women, because there's powerful money in the woman's hands, and that sustains them and that makes them go on. Both Diana and I want to say, tell the partners, we are blessed. And during this COVID situation, we found that the artisans were also blessed, because they were worried that they wouldn't get orders from Trades of Hope. But on the contrary, they got orders from Trades of Hope. And from other groups, they didn't get orders. So that has been such a tremendous blessing to them. And we know what is happening right now in America, and with Biden and Kamala Harris coming on board, we hope that the US economy will grow even further, and Trades of Hope will go to greater heights. We take this opportunity to wish Gretchen and you and all the partners a Merry Christmas and a great 2021.
Wonderful 2021.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us over this morning.
Oh, of course. Well, Merry Christmas and happy 2021 to you as well. You will hit 2021 first. You'll get there first. You'll have to let us know how it is. And thank you so much. Thank you for your partnership and your time today. The best is yet to come as we work together. I have no doubt.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
God bless Gretchen and you.
Thank you. You as well. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.